contributing players as you can remember?
Yeah, I actually thought Colorado did too. I don't think Colorado's standing height in the games felt like all the roster heights, but they're still, ridiculously big. But Utah, according to the rosters, is actually taller than Colorado. So yeah, it'll be probably the tallest team we play this year.
Will you play matchups because you have to combat the height?
Well, all our guys aren't very tall, so it really doesn't make a lot of difference on if they're all 6'8", 6'9". To be honest, we'll have different guys guarding them that are much smaller. No matter what, Zeke and Juan are going to be 6'1", 6'2", starting every game. So they're going to have to guard somebody of significant height without question.
What have your impressions been of them overall and how they've adapted to the Big 12 this year?
I would say, I think that I think they've adapted fine. Looking at their record in league, what are they, 5-8, and 4-2 at home, which is basically, kind of where we are. And we won a couple more games on the road than what they have. But for the most part, I think they've adapted pretty well, and it always takes time, I think, with the exception of Houston coming in last year and Arizona this year, to be able to recruit to the league and the competition that you're playing against. But I think that obviously he's a terrific coach and has been good everywhere he's been, and the way that they play gives them a chance to be in each and every game, because they got guys that can shoot it and a couple that can really shoot it in particular that know each other ridiculously well. I think that they could give anybody problems, but I do think this. I'll bet you, visiting with Coach, if you did, he'd say afterwards, well, after going through the league once, it'd be nice if we addressed this or that. And I think anybody that's going into a new league would probably say the same thing.
Bill, I'm curious, just through the years, what's the process like when a guy's like in a shooting slump? Are you telling them anything different? Does anything change, or is it kind of just like, hey, keep doing what you're doing, eventually figure it out?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, I've always taken the approach that it's a good or bad shot when it leaves your hand, not if it goes in or not. I've always said that, even though sometimes maybe, do I really mean it? But I've always said that. And from a technique standpoint, there could be an issue with balance or your footwork or whatever. But for the most part, you answered the own question. If this is the shot we want you to shoot and we're telling you to shoot it, why would you ever hesitate shooting it? If it doesn't go in, that's my fault. I'm the one telling you to shoot it. But I actually think there is a philosophical approach that gives shooters the opportunity to shoot themselves out of it. And I do think you can overcoach that.
Does that change at all with a guy like Grady versus somebody else, for example?
With a guy like Grady?
Yeah, like does that change with a guy who's like kind of a prolific three-point shooter versus somebody who's good but maybe not quite as elite as Grady was?
Well, first of all, you're talking about the best shooter I've ever coached.
Yeah.
So you tell him, his idea of a slump is if he goes 1 for 4. We can't do better than Grady shooting the ball from beyond the arc with space. There's kind of a fine line sometimes. Well, he's not really shooting it really well right now, and is he prolific enough that if he's not shooting it well right now, can we get better? And my thinking is this is who you are. This is what we're telling you to do, and you have the confidence to try to carry out what we're asking you to do. So, and I don't know who or which player you're referring to, or just in general.
No,
but
just in general.
Yeah, just in general, I would say whether it be Juan or Ryland Diggy, you know, or Zeke, we're better if you shoot the ball.
Yeah.
You know, we Juan, for instance, we talked about this today. You could say that Juan has an issue shooting the ball at times. His issue isn't whether he makes it, his issue is whether or not he shoots it. He started out the season 2 years ago 8 of 8 from 3 in the league. I don't know that we've ever had anybody do that. So I think with many of them, the non-prolific Grady's of the world, I think a lot of times it's them being reluctant. And I think that what I would want to eliminate from that is them being reluctant. So you don't have to shoot more, but you got to shoot it when the situation requires you to shoot it.
So do you want this team to shoot more? Or are you telling these guys, hey, you should be taking more?
I think that we should make more, and I think we should turn it over less, and I think we should rebound better.
Yeah.
I do. I think if we just did those 3 things offensively, we're going to be much more efficient. But to answer your point, go 6 of 21, and we counted a combination between 8 and 10 wide open looks that we turned down.
Yeah.
Do we want to shoot those shots? Absolutely. Absolutely, we want to take whatever the defense gives us, and we think our players are good enough to do that. So I think different games are some games you can get to the paint area and the cup area a lot easier than other games, and other games the best shot you're going to get may be that look, but we have to look to shoot the ball whenever the situation, the defense requires you to do so. So in that particular game against Colorado, we could have easily taken 33s instead of 21.
Bill, a little pros and cons, give and take of having Flory and Hunter at the same time, and given Utah's size, is that more in the realm of possible?
It is. It could be. I'm not going into it thinking that this is what we need to do to guard them. I think the answer would be, what do we do to score easier? I don't think anybody can say that, well, without KJ in the game, we got better defensively. I don't think anybody's saying that. If we're going to be our best defensively, KJ would probably be in the game, and he's obviously smaller than both of those guys. So which pairing probably, Dave, gives us a chance to not only guard their size, which I don't really see KJ, Flory, or Hunter one having a superior advantage over the other guarding size. Maybe Hunter on the low post, maybe KJ in ball screens, maybe Flory from a help position. I mean, they're all have their things that they do better than the other, but offensively, what gives us the best chance to score with the spacing that we'll need on how they guard us.
And because of the nature of the travel, forgive me, just a question on Tuesday. It's always a shock when we suffer a loss in the field house. Last year with BYU, I don't know, it just seemed extra kind of empty inside. Do you see that as a big thing for, revenge? I know it's just 3 guys, but is that something that they've talked about, or do you see that being a factor?
I haven't heard anybody speak of that at this time, with still a game in between. I haven't heard anybody speak like that. Could it be a revenge game? I think Hunt was like 8 of 17 from the free throw line last year in that particular game. I could be wrong, but that may be the number. So could it be a revenge game? Yes, but guys, let's play the Utes first, and then we'll worry about that afterwards. And there may be some discussion. I'm sure there'll be some clips shown from how they beat us last year, but I'm not going to speak of that until after we play Saturday.
Hey, Coach. Diggy was asked about how after the Colorado game you said that they played bland, and he said we wanted to prove that we're not bland, we're more than bland. But he also said that you kind of say things to challenge the team and kind of get a reaction out of them. What do you think resonates most with this team? Like what lights a fire? What sort of you know, you said maybe you question their passion, you say there's no passion. What do you think with this group really lights a fire with them?
I think, you know, that's, if I knew that, I would probably utilize it more often, than what we do. I actually, I think all people competitively in sports don't like to be told what they can't do. There's a proof to try to show you, make you wrong. I think that is actually fine to use at times, but that's not what you do when things aren't going well all the time. I think the thing that I have tried to do with them, and I actually think in many ways it's been positive in that there is a blatant difference even if you don't look at the end result, but you just look at possessions, why certain possessions are effective, great, better than the poor, non-effective, bland type possessions. And it's a common theme. It's a common thread through everything. So the thing I would probably say to them as much as anything is, you know, you've teased us all, and we've all known what your ceiling is. Anything operating under that ceiling is not good enough. And I think it's an impossible an impossible standard to live up to always be at your ceiling. But it is more probable that you get closer if you have the intangibles that allow you to get there in the first place. And we just haven't been operating with those same tangibles consistently. So that would be the thing that, you know, you can say, hey, you know, Juan, I tell you what, rather than you guard him, Juan can. That would be something that I would say just to try to piss Juan off. But the reality of it is that stuff. I think with right now at this moment, I'm past that. We have to get to the core root of who we are and what we do, and this is what we believe in, and we have to all be at this level, and hopefully collectively they want to do that as a group, because the best thing about competing is winning, and winning is, you know, obviously something that brings as much joy or more joy to anybody that's participating, and what allows you to win should be the motivation on what we all try to get to.
Do you prefer the way this road trip, or would you rather go to BYU 1 week and then a month later go to Utah?
I think this is great. We didn't get a Thanksgiving trip. We didn't get a trip in November. That's a team bonding trip where you go to Maui or Bahamas or whatever. Well, instead of going to Nassau, we're going to go to Salt Lake and Provo. But the reality of it is, to me, it has the same potential effect as what a Maui does or what something else like that does, because this team didn't get a chance to do that this year.
What will you do itinerary-wise?
I can get that for you. I think arrival is, and dinner 45 minutes after arrival. It won't be much different than a normal trip, except there will be a Sunday that will do something that will be out of the ordinary, that hopefully can be some team bonding type stuff.
But you're staying in Salt Lake till the day before the other game?
Yeah, because of what I just said. So hopefully Sunday will be an opportunity for us to do some team
How
bonding.
will you combat the altitude?
You know what? Games indoors, so it really shouldn't affect us. If I'm not mistaken, you guys can look it up. Salt Lake and Provo is right around 4,200 feet. You know, and Boulder is right around 5,200. So the altitude could play a factor, but the altitude's not like going to Laramie, Wyoming either, where you're playing at 7,000. So that will be something that, to be honest with you, Gary, we'll know about it as a staff, but we're not gonna spend much time talking
Yeah.
about it.
Will you ask Svi about it or see Svi?
You know what, I don't know if we'll see Svi or not, I don't know if the Jazz are in town, we're practicing there on Sunday. But I don't know if the Jazz are in town yet or not. I hope they are. What's that?
All-Star weekend.
All-Star weekend, so Svi may be there, but I don't know yet or not.
We know your thoughts on the energy and where it lands with defense. I wonder with this group, is there one thing that you see defensively that, hey, this is something we do very well?
Oh, yeah.
And is there
Hey,
one that
hey,
you would flip that and say?
You guys know nationally out of 367 schools or 357, whatever it is, we have the 5th most efficient defense in America.
Right.
The problem is, in the games in which we haven't been successful, defense has been really the
Sure.
reason why we haven't been. You would think we'll correct your offense, and that would be a pretty good assumption to believe, but there's gonna be some things from a limitation standpoint offensively, you know, with the same personnel and how we do things, you know. Can we tweak it and get it better? Yeah, but we could also have some guys make the same shots we've been missing too. But defensively, to me, can we get where we shrink the floor on ball screens? Can we get where our switches are tighter? Can we be a better one-shot defensive team with our defensive rebounding? To me, those are things. Can we guard the ball better and not get so spread out in late clock situations that give the appearance of you play defense for 25 great seconds and the guy beats us off the bounce the last 5? Are there things like that that we can tighten up to become a more efficient defensive team? And I think that will have as much to do with us playing better moving forward as anything.
On the flip side of that, you're seeing some of that with your offense too, and then Juan has to go get a shot or something. What are you emphasizing there to try to, I guess, have better offensive possessions? That'd be the simple way to put it. But there's a lot of times where it does kind of draw out, and then Juan just finds an angle and tries to go get it.
There is yeah, you're exactly right. Well, other teams scout us too.
Yeah.
And other teams know that we'll take away KJ on a short roll.
Yeah.
Other teams know some of the things that we do well or try to do, and they try to take away some of those things. The thing I would say is when we've run good offense, i.e., against Colorado, we probably, in a slow-paced game, we had 40 at halftime and probably gave away 10 in transition when we had numbers in the first half. That's not bad offensively, but we didn't take advantage of the opportunities we have. You know how it works. It seems like to me, now you guys know better than me, but it seems like to me when we've had a chance to really cap off a great possession, that in years past, that probably happens 80% of the time. And it seems like to me when things don't go well, that same way to cap it off, we miss a wide open 3. Or something happens where it doesn't cap it off the same way. I think we've had many more of those this year than what we've had in years past, which doesn't mean our offense sucks, which means we just gotta finish the dang possession. I brought that up in staff today watching tape. From a positive, what you just said, when the shot clock gets down to 10, even people in the stands are thinking, oh my God, we gotta go get a shot.
Yeah.
All right, 10, 9, 8, we gotta get a shot. Usually teams panic when they have to go get a shot, and that's why your efficiency's better in those situations, because you force the team to play one-on-one. It's just gonna be a high ball screen. If you can guard that, you can get out of the possession. You guys agree with me on that? So at least in many situations, I think what we've actually got better is not panic in many situations and play to, okay, it may be late in the clock, but we may get one to turn the corner and shoot an uncontested layup with 3 left, which in many ways isn't bad offense. In many ways, that's actually being patient enough to give the offense a chance to work.
Sure, yeah.
So.
And then last one for me, Diggy was in here a minute ago, as she said, and he said, this was his quote, "We're starting to build the same mindset as coach and starting to see and understand how he sees things." Are you feeling that? Are you seeing that? Does that sound right? Because, maybe it is for him, but are you seeing it collectively?
I would say that, I haven't seen it consistently collectively, but I have seen it. I have seen it. Diggy's right. But a lot of times, guys tell you what they hear all the time, as opposed to what they've actually digested. So, you know, there are certain things that I feel strongly about, that the players all know that I feel strongly about it, but they have to buy into what they feel is similar and the same thoughts of what I feel. And then when that happens, then we'll start making progress in a real positive way. So Diggy's right. But do I feel it as much as with the enthusiasm in which he said it? Not yet. But the key word is yet. We will, but we're just not yet.
All right, thanks, Coach.